Thanks for tuning in. We are on the RAGS, which is
Risa?
Amy.
Gloria and
Sloan.
So we want to talk to you today about, or we just want to talk to ourselves or anybody that wants to listen. We're talking about UFOs. I don't know if anybody, or should have got a bit, I don't know if anybody's noticed how weird it is that all of a sudden, daily this week, they've been talking about UFOs. Normally, you'd have to look at the National Enquirer to see anything about UFOs, but this week it's CNN, CBS, New York, whatever. Everybody is talking about UFOs, and I don't know why all of a sudden.
Well, there is a big reason why.
Why?
Because the Department of Defense and the Pentagon released all kinds of information that they hadn't, that they have been, I don't know, harboring or keeping from the American public for decades, but they have released a tranche of new info.
But supposedly the papers have also said that there was a rise in sightings during the pandemic.
Yes.
True.
Oh, I didn't even know that part during the
Yes,
pandemic.
but this wasn't that's a great article, but the part of it that's why it's in the news is because the Department of Defense, this new task force that's got, 5 names in it, is why it's now being all of a sudden in all of the new,
Were these stories released or were they leaked? Do we know?
I think released.
Whoever
Okay.
knows.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think released too.
You know, though, if we are, one of our guests, Michael Horkachuk, has said, whenever I ask him if he believes that there's aliens or UFOs, he says, because these are all about UFOs. Nobody ever mentions
Correct.
aliens.
Right.
And he
Right.
always says, we should not believe that there is not life on another planet not close to ours. We shouldn't be that narcissistic to think that we're the only life
Of course.
in the solar
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
But we're too far away from any of those planets to have any alien life.
Well, what is a UFO? It is an
Unidentified
unidentified
flying
flying object.
object.
So often there are explanations. It could be drones from from foreign
Mars.
country or China or Russia or whatever. We don't know.
It could
Or
be space
satellites
junk.
or
Right.
Yeah.
We just don't have any information on exactly what it is, so therefore it's unidentified. It doesn't mean that it's a flying saucer.
But we do know that there's UFOs. We do.
Well, yeah, they're unidentified,
unidentified
flying
flying
objects.
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, but-
in that one article, it did say that this police officer, I think I don't know whether remember if it's upstate New York or Vermont, said the unidentified flying object was the size of a football field.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
I
large.
mean, it's not, that's more than a satellite. So, and as Risa says, and Michael, who knows? I mean, why couldn't there be life on another galaxy or in this system that's much more advanced than ours?
And then what happened to that thing that's the size of a football field? You could hardly lose that, right?
It just
Right, exactly. Right, exactly.
gone. Yeah.
And the speeds are, crazy.
Did they
that
test him?
they've-
Sorry, did they test him for drugs? The policeman?
Oh, this was a police officer.
Well, policemen
I don't-
could do
I don't
drugs.
recall.
And who
Yeah.
knows? Well,
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of ghosts, spiritual stories. I am a big. Well, so why don't we do that
Yeah.
instead of debating about UFOs?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you a UFO story.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think this is kind of a UFO story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my husband and one of our sons decided to drive across country, and they went through Roswell. And I don't really know any story about it. I just know they went to see whatever Roswell has to offer, which is some kind of UFO
Did they see anything?
or alien thing. That's where aliens were once found. I don't really remember because me and my other son met them the following day in Las Vegas. And then at the time, I don't know how old James would have been, but let's say he was 8 maybe. I have no idea. But he and his best friend Jack at the time were such fans of Ghostbusters and anything that could be ghosty or whatever that they became quite obsessed with Area 51. And they found I don't even know how or whatever, but they found all these directions on how to get to Area 51. So Terry and I decided that it'd be fun to take the boys to see that there's nothing there, and just for the journey of it, since neither of them were old enough to go in the casino anyway. So we drove and drove and drove and found like all this area. I can't remember what these little inns were called, but they were really cute names. Like, I can't think what they're called.
They're like little motels, and they're
Yeah,
all
but they all have like alien names.
Landing and
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah.
So cute. So anyway, and then there were all these signs that said "Do not enter government property." So of course, we
Yeah.
did.
Gloria,
And-
of
Of
course.
course.
Oh yeah, my husband and my two kids are the straightest kids, straightest people in the
Yeah.
world. I'm just driving, and Terry's saying, "Don't you think maybe we should?" I'm like, "What are they going to do? Who's going to even know we're here?"
The aliens.
So we drive, and there's like bizarre things, like something that looked like it's probably a camera. And keep in mind, this was long before everybody had CCTV. Do they say CCTV over here?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's English.
Do they?
Yeah, I say it.
Oh.
Circuit TV.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, but this is before there were cameras everywhere. And then you'd see like a pole that looked like it was something moving, like a camera following us. And I said that. My husband's like looking at me like I'm a Martian. So also while we're driving there, a big long truck, I don't even know how big it is, but really, really, really big truck wrapped in like aluminum foil. Isn't that weird? When driving by, and then kind of just drove.
Wrapped in foil.
Yeah.
Was it like
Serious.
made out of
What?
metal, or it was literally
No, it
wrapped
looked like,
in foil?
No, it's too far to tell, but it was
Okay.
silver like that.
Okay.
I doubt it was a lot of Reynolds wrap, but whatever it was, just looked like it probably had aliens in it.
Okay, probably did.
But anyway, so we're driving, and then I said, "You guys are going to have to get out here. I can still get radio reception here." And a band I was managing had a single that was like going to start being played that day, and Vegas was one of the stations, and I was hoping to be able to find it, whatever. So the two of them get out and go wandering around, and there's signs like dozens and dozens of signs that says government property, will shoot, and just like really scary signs. And they're wandering around and and I'm not paying any attention at all. And then about, I don't know, however many minutes passed, it felt like 3 days, but I think it was like 15 minutes passed. And I'm sitting there looking in my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden there's a hill behind me, and it looked like Men in Black. But I think it was before there was something called Men in Black. But there was
In
a hill.
retrospect.
Yeah, there was a hill with all these. First, it looked like there were 4 people. Then it looked like there were 16 people. Then it looked like there were 32 people, and whatever. And then it looked like they had guns, and I couldn't see the boys or Terry anywhere. And I'm just shitting. I'm like, this can't be happening. What is this? If they're going to come arrest or shoot or something. And then all of a sudden, they literally were running back to the car. And then Terry said, "Look up there." And I wasn't hallucinating. There were men with guns
Did they
everywhere.
Coming for you because you were
Yes,
encroaching on the
could see-
property?
yes.
Did they talk?
Trespassing.
Did they talk
Yeah.
to you? Did they come
No, I
down?
got in the ca- no, it's
You got in the
kind of
car and
far-
drove away?
Far
Oh,
away.
okay.
Got in the car and left.
You sped out.
So fast.
They were
I missed
scary.
the song. I missed everything.
Okay, but you did see signs that said government property.
That's,
Oh, yes, Sloan.
That-
we did.
He did.
that's a good.
That
that's a
does not
good-
warrant. That
That's-
doesn't.
I mean,
That's a good
I mean,
story.
you
That's a
were
good
you
story.
were warned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there you
Well,
go.
so they were protecting something, or
they
maybe
were.
they were.
They were
That
definitely
many
hiding
people.
something.
I feel like if they were protecting you and worried about your safety, that would take like one guy and a megaphone and a truck.
Not necessarily. They still wanted you to leave.
But they wanted. But I
No,
think
you
that's why I
cannot
think they
go
were
near-
protecting something else.
Well, that too.
That's-
more
yes.
than her.
Okay, well, that's speculation.
You
now.
can't fly over Area 51.
Really into
You
speculation.
can't
You can't.
drive near
No.
Area 51.
Yeah.
It is a airspace that you can't.
Yeah.
You know, that is.
Sacred
Well, I don't
ground.
shoot.
On my drive over here, it was on the news on MSNBC, CNN. Bloomberg Radio was talking about it this morning.
It's crazy.
It's mainstream news right now. There's some
Something's
serious
up.
attention on it.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
wonder what that
something
is.
some information's going to get leaked.
Well, I was going to say it's popular right now because in the COVID relief bill, the first one that they signed, one of the stipulations was that the government had to release all of the files they have on UFOs by June 1st.
Oh, that's why.
Oh,
That's
why.
why.
So
Why is that part
That's
of a COVID relief bill?
all I know is that when Hillary was running, that was one of her big points. Was
Yeah.
like, we're going to release all this. So then I think Trump picked that up as one of his points because it was like just widely popular. And then that was like an easy way for him to slip it in, was like put it in the COVID bill.
Oh,
or
that's
sign
why.
it, and
I
then it
see.
was somebody else's
That's
file.
why.
That's funny.
That's why.
That's
You're
really
first.
funny.
Amazing.
Okay, I don't have a alien or UFO story, but I have a ghost story.
Well, does anybody else have a UFO story?
Well, so Fred was on tour,
Yeah.
however many years ago, 20 something years ago, and his bus driver, Jimmy, called him up. It was in the middle of the night and called him up and say, "Hey, look at this. What do you think that is?" And Fred said, pointed to something in the sky. And Fred said, "Oh, it's just a light from the reflection in the back." And no, close the curtain. Closes the curtain, and that light is still there and weird and making all these movements. So they pulled off to the side of the road, and all the band got off the bus, and everyone sat there and watched it for 15 minutes. And then it just like made some crazy movements and disappeared. And they were all kind of jaw dropped and didn't know what to do and thought they should report it and we should call. And then they didn't, because they thought, well, who do we call?
Ghostbusters.
Who do you call? What do you do in something like that? But then the next morning, and in the paper in USA Today, there were like 100,000 UFO sightings across the country.
So it wasn't just that one. Oh, it was probably just that one traveling
But
across
it was
the country.
people. They were like in
They might have
Michigan.
seen it.
In Michigan, I
Yeah,
think. But
yeah.
people were reporting
Oh, I
it in
get it.
Colorado.
Yeah.
They were like reporting these sightings all over the country.
Oh,
So
I love
I don't.
that.
Who
It's a
knows
little
what it
scary.
was? But
scary,
it's all very
stimulating.
I mean, I think for sure there's life outside
Oh yeah.
Earth.
But
We
Yeah.
just we're not
Yeah,
not there yet.
they're all
We're not
at-
smart enough to figure it out yet.
They're all at Area 51.
Yeah, they're all there. But they have to know something. Something. I don't get why it's so scary to release it.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't work for the government.
Yeah, well, that's
Good.
good.
And what about you,
Okay.
Sloan? Do you have any UFO sightings?
I don't. I'm sorry to be so dull, but
No, you're not dull.
Risa
Yeah.
is too.
No, thank you.
I don't
no
have any
UFO sightings.
I have a ghost story. I don't
I'd
have
love
yours.
your ghost story.
You want to hear?
Yes,
But
please.
ghosts are very different than UFOs.
I know.
Like, we should draw that line.
Okay,
But
yes.
Oh, yes.
We,
No,
we
no,
do
no.
realize that ghosts are not UFOs. Hauntings
But
is
it's
not the
still-
same as aliens.
No, but it's still scary.
It's
It's something that's unexplainable in
This is
some ways.
unexplained
This is
supernatural
correct,
phenomenon.
correct.
This
Yeah.
is our Halloween show.
No, it's
early.
not.
I thought it was our Easter show.
See,
Oh, yes.
ghosts are supposedly beings that left too soon in their life.
Yeah.
That left too soon. So I actually have two real ghost stories.
Or
and-
under mysterious circumstances. Or,
but they
you
were
know,
ended too soon. So there's some place in
Correct.
between.
Unfinished
Supposedly.
business.
Okay.
And again,
a different plane, a different realm.
I believe in everything until proven otherwise. And it's not like I sit around going, woo. But, okay, so this is my first story. Julia Roberts did a movie called Steel Magnolias. It was about a girl who was called Shelby in the movie, who had type 1 diabetes. And she was told never to have children because it would really affect her life.
Was it a true story?
Yes, very true story. It would affect her life, and she was engaged or newly married to the person in the movie was Dylan McDermott, but I don't know what his name was in real life.
No, that is his name in real life.
no,
Dylan
I don't know
McDermott.
what the person's name was in
Oh, I get it.
the real person that Dylan portrayed.
I get it.
And so, anyway, this girl in the movie did have a child because she wanted to, and she knew it would affect her life, and she then had to have a transplant, and she did die early. And it was a sad but beautiful movie. So
Remember that.
I went to visit the set, and one night we went out, and they were renting a house in Natchitoches, Louisiana, in the back behind. There were no street lights. There was a lot of, in the vegetation was a lot of hanging willow trees, and it might have been a little foggy. I don't know. So Dylan was driving a Mustang. He was driving. Julia was in the passenger seat, and I was in the middle in the back looking through the front windshield. And so we're driving and it's dark. And all of a sudden, on the right side of the car, is as if somebody had blown out cigar smoke, but not that direction. It was this straight, up and down. Like a whoosh of smoke went around the car
Outside?
outside. And I just kept quiet for a few seconds. And then I said, did anybody see that? And Dylan said, I saw that. And Julia said, I saw that. We have no idea what it was. It wasn't. We had no idea what it was.
Did you feel anything?
No, but again, she portrayed somebody that
Yeah.
had left this world too soon. So, and again, that's what it looked like
Wow.
to me, to them. I have no idea what it was. We never talked about it after that. But that was my first ghost story, and I
Yeah.
have two.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was a. Yeah.
Are you scared of ghosts? Do you feel?
I don't think they're scary.
I don't either.
In fact, okay, can I tell the second
Yeah.
one? I have one that I believe protects my house. So years ago, before I didn't have an iPhone at that time. I had a BlackBerry. My housekeeper, Anna, who I love, she's like my sister. She's been with me for 24 years. We have security cameras. So in the kitchen, was a TV monitor, and it was cut by 4 because 4 different cameras. And she showed me a picture on her phone, and she said, what does this look like to you? And I said, it looks like a woman sitting with an orange dress on and long black hair. And she said, I took it off of the monitor. That was the gate camera.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh, wow.
Wow.
And then I said, can you send that to me? So she did. And every time I would show it to somebody, they would say, looks like a woman with long black hair with an orange dress just sitting. And then Stacia Robitaille was the only person I know that had an iPhone. And she said, can you send that to me? So I did. She enlarged it, which you can do with an iPhone, and it looked like it had facial hair. Now, we all live on Indian property, on Indian land, right? We do.
Right.
And that's what it looked like. Maybe facial hair, long black hair, and probably one of those things, whatever skin that they wear. And I would show it to people. And then one day, maybe a year after that, I said to my housekeeper, do you still have that picture on your phone? And she said, no, it's not there anymore. And I said, it's not on my phone either.
Ooh.
Ask Stacia if she has it.
Yeah.
And I that's a good question. So I really thought that it was somebody protecting the house,
Yeah.
the land that they had lived on
Wow.
long before me. And that's what I think. So am I scared of them? I'm not actually. I really think it's somebody protecting the house. So I kind of say
That's
that to
interesting.
people.
Yeah.
Like, don't come near the house.
Yeah.
There's somebody protecting it
Yeah.
that lived there too. So I'm sharing that property, more or less. Those are the only 2 ghost stories I have
Yeah.
ever.
And they're both good ones.
Yeah.
And they're not a lie. They're the truth.
Yeah.
But I should ask Stacia if she
Ask
still has
Stacia. It'd be great
know,
to
I'd
see
love
it.
to see it.
Yeah. We should post that.
that. I had a BlackBerry at the time, and Anna had a flip phone. So
No cloud.
Don't
No
age-
cloud was happening
Don't
then.
Don't
age
age-
yourself.
Diane Warren still has a BlackBerry,
know.
okay? Do you have ghost stories? Did you ever see a ghost?
I don't think I've ever seen a ghost. I mean, I'm very I'm not skeptical. I'm just truly like I'm not scared of it. I don't know.
That's the only
don't
2
know.
I have.
I just feel like if a ghost is Fred gets really freaked out when I talk like this because he's like, "Oh, you're going to like bring it on." He really gets freaked. I just feel like, you know what? If there's a ghost out there and they're trying to like, I don't know, terrorize or torment, they're not going to win because you know what? I'm alive.
Well, they're not all
I
here
don't
to
know. I
torment.
just feel like
I don't think they're terrorizing.
I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
they're-
I feel like if you respect whatever it is that they're trying to tell you, if you're scared, maybe there's something they're trying to say. I don't know. Just listen and I don't know. Just
Well, I always felt like, am I talking over you? I
No.
know we're trying to be really careful of this. Did you finish?
yes, I'm done.
This is going to be like Rummy Cube. We're going to have to say, finished.
Maybe none of us really finish ever because we're
no.
We just keep going.
we just keep going and then
Energize
you
your
take over
buddies.
and you take over and you take over and
Well,
whatever.
I will share my story with you because I too, not that you actually said you weren't a skeptic. I was a skeptic. And my husband's had a few experiences, but most English people have or claim to have had, because that's just a very English thing to do.
Yeah.
Because everything's so old there that there's bound to be ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
So when Biff was like, I don't know, a year old, 18 months old, whatever, we were in England, they were recording, and we were staying at a hotel called Great Foster's, which was Queen somebody's hunting lodge, which that alone should have told me something. But anyway, I digress. So as we're walking to the room checking in, I'm pushing the stroller. Terry's got the key for the door, and we were in a room called the nursery, which was like a large suite sort of thing with a separate little place for the babies and whatever. And so Terry's going to unlock the door, and I see him do like a triple take, like he sees something. I said, "What are you doing?" And I thought he was just trying to spook me. He said, "I just saw something go by. It's probably a mouse." I said, "I'm out of here. If there are mice in this hotel, I'm gone."
Ghosts are fine. Mice.
So he said, well, let's just see, because it was, I'm sure it was just one and it's gone. Anyway, so went into the room. The next day, he's at the studio, and Wendy is sitting there with me. We had just ordered room service, having dinner, and I see Wendy do almost exactly the same thing. I said, "Did Terry tell you that he freaked me out yesterday thinking he saw a mouse?" And she said, "No, I haven't even seen Terry." And she said, "I don't think I saw a mouse, but I definitely just saw something." And I'm like, not funny. I'm definitely checking out. I think it was a mouse, and now I'm imagining it being a rat. If she says it's not a mouse and it's something on the ground, it must be, I don't know, a rat, I guess. So anyway, Terry came back. I said, "Can we please change rooms, because I'm just not feeling good about this. You think you saw something, Wendy thinks she saw something, and you're both lunatics and probably purposely trying to freak me out, but I am sufficiently freaked out. Let's go." So I went downstairs the next morning and I said, "Do you have any other rooms?" She said, "I will tomorrow. You can move into the Italian suite," which was called, which wasn't a suite. The room was about 2 inches by 2 inches. But anyway, but they were these two Italian statues by the fireplace, these wooden statues that they had back then. And I don't even remember why, but everybody did. Italians did. So we're in bed. After we move into the room, we're in bed, and all of a sudden Terry's arms start like flailing and just hit me. And I'm saying, "Wake up." He was obviously having a nightmare, and he sat up and he said, "God, that was horrible. I thought I was drowning. It was the scariest thing. I really felt like I was drowning." And he's a great swimmer, so I mean that was bizarre. But he was really like scared, or something was definitely happening. We go back to sleep. Anyway, so the next night, and I just assumed a bad dream. The next night, all of a sudden, I sleep through anything, but all of a sudden Terry's elbowing me and he's saying, "Listen, listen." And so I sit up, and Biff, who can't speak yet, is having a conversation with the two wood statues.
Oh.
What was he saying? Or was it baby talk?
It was like baby talk. Neither one of us can remember what he was saying, but it was more than baby talk. He was talking to them, but we have no idea what he was saying. And Terry says he can't remember either.
Whoa.
I got dressed.
Does Biff remember?
No, he was 18 months old.
I know, but.
So anyway, went downstairs, and I said, "We've got to change rooms again. I'm really sorry." She said, "We have nothing else." I said, "Find me another hotel. I can't stay here."
Whoa.
And I told her what happened. And I told her what happened in the first room.
Yeah.
And what she didn't know, the first room, a little boy had drowned, and he was just at crawling age. So we're guessing that must be what Terry and Wendy saw. He was at crawling age, and the little boy in the statue downstairs was him. That was a picture of him.
Oh my God.
And he had drowned.
Oh.
True story. Great Fosters. I don't know
Whoa.
if this is on their ad for future visits.
No, but
that's the
nobody's going to
story.
go there now.
No, some people like going to haunted places.
No,
Oh, they do.
I did a job in Salem once, Salem, Massachusetts.
Love that.
And I was like, we were staying at this really cool, old, supposedly haunted hotel. And I was like, "Come on, talk to me." But nothing really.
That's why.
I mean, I was very like
If you would have been
meditating, like I'm very open to you if you have anything to say. But
If you would have been English, they would have talked.
yeah, probably.
Wow.
Speaking of seeing things shoot across, so I have actually. Fred and I both, at different times and sometimes at the same time, see a shadow of a cat that goes running
In your house?
in different all the houses that
Oh.
we've lived in.
It
So
just
it just
follows
goes
you.
with you?
Yeah,
Just-
maybe. So
That's spooky.
In our first place in West Hollywood together, we would see it, and we had a cat at the time, so I don't think it's our cat, or who has since passed away, but we would see, I'd go, did you see that? It was like a shadow, like a cat running across the room, and he's like, I did see it. And then other times he'll see it, and I didn't see it, and I see it. I go, the cat was here. But it's,
Oh.
I mean,
Maybe it's your dead cat. Keep visiting
well, that's what we
you.
thought, but the first few times we saw it,
But
she was alive.
Your cat was alive.
It was
Yeah.
somebody else.
Somebody
that needed
else's
you,
cat.
that wanted you, needed
I
you.
know, I don't know.
Aw.
It doesn't scare us.
That's why
it's
you love
just-
cats.
Yeah, I do. I love
I
all
know.
animals.
That's why that one comes to visit.
Maybe,
all the time.
yeah.
That one.
Sweet Pea is her name.
I know.
How about you, Sloan? Any scary
Well,
things
I've
you want
had
to
a
tell us?
few paranormal experiences. One was I had a boyfriend at the time, long
No
before
way.
my husband.
There was life before dawn.
No, there wasn't
That doesn't
life.
really
It just
count.
I was
Yeah.
barely breathing until he came around,
Yes. Go ahead.
waiting on him.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you
my
do now.
boyfriend at the time's father had just passed away, and I wasn't there that night, but he says his father came into the room fully not looking like a ghost, looking just like him. And the day he had died, they had had a fight, and he really was struggling with it. And his father had a heart attack that morning, came into his bedroom at about midnight and woke him up and said, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm doing fine. And stood in the doorway for a couple minutes and then left.
Whoa.
And he did not drink. He didn't do drugs. He didn't even
No, I
do
believe
coffee.
that.
I mean, it was kind of a crazy thing. Now that didn't happen to me. That happened to him. To me, the morning after my stepfather died, and he loved mushrooms, I opened
Magic
the window.
mushrooms?
No, just he loved to eat mushrooms.
Got it.
The morning after he died, I came to my mother, and he died in my mother's bedroom. I was there when it happened.
Oh.
The next morning, I'm over there. I'm helping her with everything, and they had taken his body away the afternoon before. We opened her curtains to her bedroom, and she had this big tree on the terrace, and there was a mushroom that had sprouted up overnight.
Oh.
Wow.
A huge mushroom that wasn't there the day before.
Oh.
Little
Mushrooms are-
signs.
Kind of
Yeah,
spooky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
And then a couple of times I'll be talking about my father, and there's a giant crow. I will show up on my balcony.
But we talked about
Yeah.
that crow.
Yeah. And that's happened a lot. I mean, to this day that happens.
Wow.
So it's kind of weird.
A friend of mine's mother recently passed away, maybe a year ago. And it was so interesting. I got this feeling about her, and her mother had Alzheimer's, and I knew she was about to go, in the next month or 2 months or whatever. So I had this feeling. I remember I was in a hotel room in Florida somewhere, and I went, and I called her and left her a message. She didn't answer. And about an hour later, she calls me back. So I pick up the phone, Lori, hi. But it was like a booty dial. I was in her bag. I just hear like all this, rumbling,
She
whatever.
died. Did she die?
Yes. So
A
when I
what?
called her and was thinking about her, she was holding her mother's hand, saying goodbye.
Oh.
So I got the booty dial, and then like 20 minutes after that, I got a text from her husband letting me and another friend know what had happened. So I just feel like there's all of this energy out there that isn't scientifically written down or quantifiable that is very, very real.
I have something to say about that. I used to say this when I was younger. The brain is a muscle. We do all kinds of things to increase our muscles, right? But if you keep doing brain exercises and things to increase that muscle, I think we only use a small portion of our brain.
True.
And there's
Right.
other portions, the intuitive portion, the psychic portion, the other. I do believe we all have that.
Yeah.
If you work on it or hone it.
I agree.
what-
But besides the muscle, there is all this, as Amy said, electrical energy.
It's the
that-
energy, right.
Yeah, that still exists even
That's
as
why-
you're taking your last breath.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
That's why I always say, don't put things out there that you don't want
That's right.
to be there, because they are then there in your
Your universe.
right. Just keep things
Right.
positive and
Yeah.
upbeat, and that's my opinion.
Well,
I
how
could be
often
wrong.
have you thought about somebody or something
phone
and the
rings.
phone rings,
Right.
or 2 days
Yes.
later,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
think about someone I haven't talked to in years, and then like the next week,
Yes.
I used to
I
try to
love
do
they
that.
reach
that.
out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I used to try to do that.
Yeah.
Summon people to call me. Like if I had a crush
Yes.
on somebody in college
Yeah.
and I wanted them
It
to
didn't
call
work
me.
like
It doesn't
that.
It did work.
Oh,
I think it does work.
It
I think
does.
it does work.
Yeah.
It does summon them.
Well, I feel the intentionality part of it, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes you pick up on something that's meant to happen, that's going to happen anyway. It's not that you've even intentionally channeled it. You just sort of like go, and that person just comes in, and then you cross paths. It's weird.
Do we have, because we should probably move on, do we have kudos
Well, no, I
and,
was gonna
and raggeries? What?
well,
I'm
we
sorry.
do, I think, but I was going to ask you guys. I was actually going to tell you a Gigi Hadid story about her ghosts, but anyway, but we
Okay.
can move on from that. But speaking of Hadid, was it you I was talking to about? the
Don't talk to
house?
me about that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
My
what's
beautiful
happening?
No, no. That's the one in Bel Air. But you know,
Yeah, no, I know.
I have a beautiful outside, and I swim every day, and I
So
look
beautiful.
at the sky, and I look at the trees, and the beautiful mountain, and then I look over there, and the mountain is torn up.
Torn to
No,
shreds.
it's awful.
And there's
Awful.
things to build things on it, and equipment, and the mountain was torn up so there could be a road to bring the building equipment up. It's torn up
No, just
and
hideous.
halted the building.
No, just hideous.
Don't get me started.
But
Karma, karma, karma.
No, but
Yeah.
speaking of big dicks,
Nice transition.
that was a good one.
but have you seen, I'm just looking because I'm not going to say the name right, but have you seen this thing, speaking of England and big dicks, this thing called Cerne Apis Giant? It's CERNE.
Yes.
What is this? It's something that dates back to the
Oh,
Saxon
that's
period.
crazy.
But have a look
Oh,
at
yes.
this. This
Oh,
is,
yeah.
Okay, this is in their hillside.
Right.
Yeah.
And who made? I saw. Who made that?
We need to describe this for the listeners who are not watching this on YouTube.
Well, I'm just too amazed. You described.
Okay, well, so there's a giant chalk figure that has been drawn into a hillside
During the Saxon period.
during
not
the
last
Saxon period,
week's.
which is what, 700
Which
AD,
is like, I
right?
think it was like 10th century, but I'll look it up.
700 AD, I
But a
think,
long
is
time
the
ago.
It
earliest.
was 700? Okay.
I think they think it can't be earlier than that. And people have kind of keep re-outlining it. Do you think they're, I don't know,
I don't
beefing
know.
it up in any way?
I don't know. Well, like,
I don't know.
Like which part?
I don't know. Just,
But I would have never even thought Saxons had that.
I don't know.
What had what?
This could go back. This could go
Had body
back to,
Penises, who knew?
You think they didn't have them? They just came about
Okay.
later.
Well, I would have thought somebody would know how to draw one.
Oh, they know how to draw.
They know how to
Okay,
draw.
anyway.
Those 700 ADers, they knew
Okay.
how to
This
draw.
could also go back to unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, kind of like in the
Who
Stonehenge.
drew that?
Or like pyramids.
Pyramids.
Pyramids,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen
Yep.
the pyramid. I don't know how they built that.
Yeah.
No,
I have no idea how.
Does anybody?
A
I don't
zillion slaves could have lifted.
no.
Oh, they could wait. They
Blocks
called them
of-
volunteers.
Oh, sorry.
Jewish volunteers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I don't even know how they
The
built
Hebrew
those.
slaves.
I don't even know how they built the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas.
No, I don't either.
All of this goes
But
right
they had
over my
equipment
head.
at that point.
Yeah.
They didn't have equipment when they built the pyramid.
Right.
No,
They just had
didn't.
people, little people, or
Yeah.
big people.
Not little slaves,
Okay.
volunteers. Okay, so go on.
So do we have kudos,
terrible.
or do we have,
We have-
raggeries, kudos?
I've got all of it.
I have a couple.
So
I
many.
have so many kudos.
Okay, do
Okay,
you have a
begin.
raggery? Do
Am
you want
I?
to
Yes.
rag on anything?
Yes, I think that there should be left turn signals at every street corner in Los Angeles, and it would solve.
Didn't we already go through this, Risa?
No, that was her temper.
That was her road rage.
Yeah.
It would
Oh.
solve.
She's
the
still
traffic-
going on.
Aren't we on?
Yeah.
Are we still on the road rage then?
It would solve the traffic
It's in
problems.
yeah, it's in the family.
In Canada, they have a left turn signal, and even though it lasts for like 10, 15 seconds, lets cars go by, and cars don't have to crowd up the intersection.
There you go.
Who do we talk to about it?
Your congressman.
No, somebody. Gloria knows who to write to. She writes to people whenever she has an issue. The CDC.
Gloria
she
Butler
writes to-
is in an email war right now with some poor sap at the CDC who's trying to do the impossible.
I'm going to get a third vaccine.
No, you're
By the
not.
No, you're not.
You're not.
We will tie you down.
And
You're
I
not.
purposely put in my email to her that as per her request. So if I die from this third
just
vaccine,
not. There's some
I'm blaming
there
her.
is some
You're not
professional passive aggression going on in this email thread.
Okay, that's
Wow.
mine. That's
Okay, I'm
mine.
over it.
You
I'm
all
over
have it.
that.
Over it.
Okay,
Moving
go,
on.
Go.
Moving on. Gloria,
Yeah.
what's your peeve?
my name's not Amy.
Oh,
R-A.
all right. My peeve.
Mine is obviously when we go out of order.
Okay. My peeve is an unlined and unwaxed popcorn box. I think that when you go to a movie and you're going to split a giant popcorn with somebody, and
Gloria.
you take Gloria Butler, and you take a box because you're going to pour that popcorn into that box. Those boxes should be lined with wax.
They should. A lot of
So
wax.
that if you are somebody who slathers butter all over your popcorn,
I spilled. They
Gloria
give you
Butler.
they give you
Gloria
tubs.
Butler.
They give you tubs there, and I spilled it. Go on.
We'll talk about that's a kudos later.
so it soaked through the entire box while it's sitting on Gloria's lap in the movie.
It was really gross.
And she was completely saturated and soaked with movie popcorn butter.
With saturated oil. Now I know why
Saturated
it's
with
called that.
saturated oil. That should be your peeve, but I took it.
We're gonna get
Thank
to
you.
that.
It's a PSA.
We're gonna get to that
Yes.
in my kudos.
Okay.
That whole situation.
My
right.
butter situation?
Maybe. Well, it has a little to do with that.
Okay,
Well,
G.
I'm going to rag on Risa today. I am.
Oh, I can't
have
wait.
to. Because Risa told all of us that we need to be doing squats every night to help with our dementia or Alzheimer's or something.
Yes.
To help
Okay.
keep it at bay for a little while. So
What's wrong with that?
Well, I took it really seriously. And
As you should.
I forgot I had a bad knee.
Oh.
Oh.
She forgot to
How
say.
dare you.
But that
Don't
is
do
not
these
that is not
squats.
Risa's
No,
fault.
she should have said everybody should do this except Gloria.
No,
because I have a torn
Gloria.
ACL and I really hurt myself.
And why do you not?
Thank you,
Why do you
Risa.
not wear
But
your
maybe
leg
you
brace
should
so
get
that
that
we can
knee
remember?
fixed.
I'm going
Yeah.
to, and
But
I'm going to
maybe
have
you should
surgery
Why?
to get my knee fixed.
Yeah,
Wear your
she
leg
needs to.
brace and build your muscles up.
Yeah, that too. So that's my only rag. It really hurt.
Okay.
By
Okay.
the way,
Sloan.
Risa.
Sorry.
Well, guess what, girls? I have no kudos nor peeves this week.
Oh.
So I
Why?
pass on to why?
There's nothing political happening in the world.
Yes, but I'm trying to be apolitical this week.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Just this week.
I have two kudos.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you could do one of
All right. I'll
Sloan's.
give you my second, but my first one is a multiple kudos, which is
Oh, wait a minute. I do have a pet peeve.
okay.
Okay. I am as Gloria already blew my cover last week. I am in the great state of Texas, which isn't so great right now. As you saw,
Yeah.
they have passed an abortion law that if you are raped or have incest, you cannot abort that baby past week 6, where most people don't even know they're pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in medieval times.
We are, we
Hence
are.
the reason
We're
we're,
going
getting
backwards.
the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Medieval times with our governor and the yahoos down here.
Yeah.
I cannot
No, no.
believe it.
I
I
couldn't
would-
believe it
I
either.
And
would
if
get
you,
out of
I think
town.
I sent you an article about Kremlin cruise, but I digress, as Gloria would say.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No,
I'll
no.
just stick with our horrific governor.
You have to get out of there.
And
That's horrible.
it is
Yeah.
just
That's
unbelievable
horrific.
to be a woman in this state.
Don't ever admit you're in Texas again.
I know.
I
Don't
will never
don't give
say
it away.
I won't.
Thank you.
I won't. That's so horrible.
I'm moving tomorrow.
Okay,
Yay.
Out of here.
good. We're happy to have you.
Okay. Now back to thank you, Reese. Back to Risa.
But we forgot to talk about parking meters.
No, let's not do that. That's another
What about
time.
my lost email? I am missing 6 weeks worth of email.
We'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah. But kudos are better.
Kudos.
Okay,
Risa,
so here's
Risa starts the stars.
Okay,
the
so
kudos.
I have to give a multiple kudos. My very dear friends, Amy Mata, Gloria Butler, and Michael Horkachuk accompanied me to go see Spiral, which is the 9th installment of the Saw series. So we actually went to a movie theater for the first time in a year and a half.
Well, my first time in probably 5 years.
Fortunately, there was only like 30 people in the theater because it was Sunday at a weird hour. And they sat through that movie. We went because my adorable son, should I say adorable or handsome or whatever?
Oh, smoking.
Yeah, okay. Son was in the movie. So that's why we went. And I will say that I have a tiny bit to do with the Saw series, just a tiny
Just
bit.
a little.
And it
A lot.
did. Okay, drop it. This weekend, this weekend, it reached the 1 billion point. That it's made $1 billion.
way.
This weekend.
Wow.
But I do have
That's-
I do have to give kudos to these
Then why didn't you buy
My-
breakfast?
because you
'Cause
had
she ran
so
out of
many
points.
points at the
Okay,
Soho
okay.
House.
I will
oh.
say that is what you call Gloria and I, especially going to a Saw movie.
I've never been to one in
That
my
is
life.
that is the definition. Like if you open Webster's dictionary and you look up
Good
taking
friend?
it for
Friend.
the team.
Yeah.
And good friend.
And
It's
good
under
friend.
I would
too.
say under friendship, yes.
Yeah. That there's a picture of Gloria and I at the movie, and she's soaked in butter, and we're smiling in front of Spiral.
Right.
with our eyes closed,
Well, I
by
think
the way.
you can always bribe Glow as long as food is there.
Popcorn. Yeah.
Should I give my second kudos or should we move on? Second?
No, you
Sure.
can say second.
Second. Okay,
Yeah.
so, and this was by accident because also this morning when Gloria Butler so nicely paid for breakfast at the Soho House in West Hollywood, I ran into one of my old, person that, with whom I used to work at ICM, and his name is Doug McLaren, and this is the 20th anniversary of him climbing to the top of Mount Everest. And
Wow.
this young man, as a child, had very, very, very bad asthma. He used to look outside of the window and wish that he could play with the other kids playing. And he, in his life, trained so hard so that he could climb to the top of Mount Everest.
Incredible.
Wow.
And then I ran into him, and it's his 20th anniversary of right now of when he did it.
So
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's kudos.
That's
But
big
I have
kudos.
to add two things.
Yes.
2 people died on Mount Everest in the last week.
Yeah, but they die a
One
lot.
American
Yeah.
and one Swiss.
That's why it's
Young guys.
it's so
sad.
challenging. So very
I'd
challenging.
say crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's a big COVID outbreak there too in the last month or so,
Yes,
right?
right.
It's kind of scary to be in the
Right,
middle
since
of a
it
pandemic.
affects your
and-
lungs and you can't breathe
Yeah.
at that
Oh.
altitude.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine if you had asthma as a child and you
No.
finally did that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kudos. Well,
Yeah.
Those are my kudos.
Those were mine too. Was that we made it through that movie with you?
Mine too.
Eyes closed, ears plugged,
It was a good movie.
just for
except
the
it scared-
horrible parts. Yeah.
I had a. Never mind.
Whatever.
Is that your only kudos?
Yeah.
What about
Well,
yours?
I have one.
Okay.
It's not really a kudos. I just want to bring it up.
Okay.
Did anybody watch Saturday Night Live last night?
Oh no.
Oh.
the opening skit.
Was that when Lil Nas X's dick fell out?
No. Oh.
Oh,
no.
it did not.
Gloria, that's
It
not true.
almost did.
His
Not in
pants
the
ripped.
opening skit. Not
No,
the opening
no.
skit.
His pants ripped.
Yeah, his pants ripped.
I watched the
But
opening.
I
It
don't
was so
but I think he did it on
bad.
purpose.
I didn't go any farther.
No.
I do think, yes. He's the same person that went out and bought these Nike shoes.
Turned them into a devil.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
no, he,
that's
he
right.
put blood in them,
Oh.
in the sole. He had a staff, each take their, prick themselves and put a drop of blood in these shoes.
Ugh.
I mean, Nike sued asking for all the shoes back. I mean, he didn't even try
Wait,
to hide
I don't get it. Okay. So
He bought some Nike shoes and then sold them as devil shoes for $600. He bought 1,000 of them and sold them for $666, or he bought 666 of them and sold them for $1,000.
and what? He put blood in the soles? And what is it? What? I don't get it. What
Well,
would
it was
happen?
just a shtick. It
Oh.
was just. I guess he thought a good marketing plan, which it
Probably
was,
was.
because everybody talked about it.
Yeah.
Now that that's faded away, he does a pole dance.
Splits his pants.
Yeah, and has to stand there and hold his crotch the rest of the song.
We stayed at a hotel with him
We did.
last last year was a blur. 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, and he was lovely.
Yeah, he seems like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
like a
nice man.
Nice man,
Very nice man.
talented.
Yeah. Well, I don't know after last night.
I didn't watch.
That one
I didn't
actually-
watch.
I don't really blush, but I kind of got a little
Really?
blushy.
I have a 666 story, but let's hear if Sloan has a kudos.
That wasn't a kudos at all.
What was it?
actually.
Yeah, what
was
is it?
kind of-
What was it?
Well, I think it might have been a kudos to him for being good at marketing himself.
He's
Having,
fearless.
having devil shoes.
Well,
just-
it made
and
you
having-
blush.
I just kind of like that he's.
I'm blushing.
himself. His
I
own
just like
person?
that he pushes the boundaries.
For those young kids that may be afraid.
Talk about music categorization. That was a very cool thing. His
Yeah.
song, how that kind
What
of
was
broke
the
down a lot
line?
of those
Oh,
boundaries.
Diane Warren thought it was cool.
Yes. There's a line.
I'm
What
gonna
is
take
the-
my horse to the. Wait,
No, how did it go?
Cole.
Take my horse to
The
the Old
open-
Town
Old
Road.
Town
To
Road.
the-
A hotel room.
She thought he was saying, "I'm going to take my horse to the hotel room."
Diane Warren thought the words were, "I'm going to take my horse to the hotel room
Which I think he. What were they? What were the words?
to
the Old Town Road."
Oh.
When Biff was like 5 years old, there was a song called "I'm Your Venus."
Oh,
I'm
Yes.
your
Yeah.
Venus.
Who did that
I'm your
originally?
fire.
Now there's a commercial for
Desire.
ladies' leg shavers.
Yeah.
But who did it originally?
I don't know.
we'd have to
But
look it
Biff
up.
used to always sing, "I'm your penis," because that's the way it sounded to him. And he was 5, so he wasn't doing it on purpose, or however old, but he was little. But that's sometimes things just sound different.
Okay, I guess it's time to say goodbye. For now.
For now.
Bye,
Till we meet
everybody.
again.
Bye.
Bye.
Till next
Bye,
time.
Sloan. We miss you.
Bye, girls.
Bye.